We're live. What is up, Undroppables Nation? I'm your host, Josh Lee, and I'm super excited today because we are kicking off best ball season. Ball Mania 4 is finally here, and I cannot wait to hop in these drafts, and because I've put in a lot of work. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Ben Dominguez and the Fantasy Data Pros are putting together a fantasy best ball competition. They partnered with Underdog, and Underdog has shared all of the Best Ball Mania data from the past 2 years. And I have spent a lot of time over the past 2 weeks really digging in and analyzing that data to understand how the teams that have won this competition and built finals competing teams, how they've navigated their drafts and how they've built their teams. So I'm going to go ahead today and share some of the insights I've found. It's still a work in progress, but I wanted to share what I've learned so far and what insights I'm going to be applying to our draft today. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Here we go. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. Looks like you can. Okay, cool. So let me start from the top. So I'm going to go through this relatively quickly. But basically, I loaded in all the data. Let me go to the first insight that I figured out. Here we go. Okay. So I first wanted to look at, okay, what did teams draft in the first round? Essentially, like when I looked at it, it looked like tight end had the most average roster points based off of players drafted in the first round. And it's pretty obvious. Like whoever drafted tight end in the first round, that's going to be Travis Kelce. If you drafted Travis Kelce in the first round, you're going to have a higher average points than the other players in the first round. Because when we take running back, that's going to average like an Austin Eckler, CMC, and a Jonathan Taylor. So the Jonathan Taylor was going to bring that average down. In the first round last year, Devontae Adams, sorry about that, guys. A little bit of technical difficulties. This is our first stream of the year, so we'll continue to work through these kinks as we get better and better at this. But let's just jump right back in. Sorry about that little bit of a delay there. Let's go ahead and jump straight back into what we were exploring. Okay, so then I wanted to look at like what combination of players are being drafted in each of the rounds. Okay, they take a wide receiver in the first round, and then what do they do in the second round? Do they take a running back? Do they take a tight end? Do they take a quarterback? So I wanted to just look at the different combinations. I sorted it by the max regular season roster points. And so this guy who ended up winning the regular season prize put up So this was interesting that they were able to score so much more than the next best or than like your average playoff team. They ended up going wide receiver in the first round, tight end in the second round. And what we ended up learning was that tight end in the second round was Travis Kelce. So this person had the 10th pick, and they were lucky enough to get like a Devontae Adams and Travis Kelce. And then they went wide receiver, quarterback, first running back not drafted until the 8th round. So I wanted to understand these roster builds a little bit better. And so what I did was I dug in. Let me get to, okay, this was another thing I was looking at was the finals, what players were most common in the finals. And that was kind of what we saw. I mean, TJ Hawkinson makes sense because TJ Hawkinson the week prior put up like a 37-point week. And so if you had TJ Hawkinson on your team, you were able to make them going. And I want to get to the key insights that I've really been able to glean out of this data. Not this, not this. Okay, we'll start here. So I basically made buckets for like how teams would draft. So like I had a 0 RB plus an elite quarterback as like a bucket. That's when they don't draft a running back within the first 6 rounds, but they take a quarterback within the first 4. 0 running back plus elite quarterback plus elite tight end. These are pretty self-explanatory. 0 running back meaning no running back in the first 6 rounds. Elite quarterback, 1 quarterback within the first, maybe it was the first 6 rounds. Elite tight end, 1 tight end in the first 6 rounds. Hero running back, only 1 running back in the first 6 rounds. Unknown was kind of a bucket that I just like dropped every single other draft strategy into. Elite quarterback, kind of already talked about that. Wide receiver heavy if you'd taken more than 3 wide receivers in the first 6 rounds. So that's kind of the logic that I use to build each of these. Bully tight end, if you draft more than 2 tight ends in the first 6 rounds. Robust running back, at least 3 running backs in the first 6 rounds. So I have those buckets. And you can see that the top 3 scoring teams or scoring roster builds had 0 running backs through the first 6 rounds, or hero running back, only 1 running back in the first 6 rounds, plus an elite quarterback. And so this kind of aligns with everything I've seen from like Hayden Winks, from Peter Overzet, Liam Murphy. They all kind of talk about this strategy where you don't necessarily, you want to be stacking more wide receivers than running backs in the first 6 rounds. And I'll actually show you guys today why that is exactly. And then what I also did was this first one was looking at the median. I was like, I don't want to be middle of the pack. Like I don't want to know what the best scoring team for in the middle of the pack really is. I want to know what is like the 99th percentile, the max points, the top team. I wanted to figure out exactly what was going down there. So same thing for median. We saw 0 running back, hero running back plus elite quarterback. Same thing for 99th percentile. 0 running back plus elite quarterback, 0 running back plus elite quarterback plus elite tight end, unknown. I'll have to dig in a little bit more. Again, work in progress project. 0 running back plus elite quarterback, hero running back plus elite quarterback. These are kind of our top scoring rosters. So what I figured out was, okay, a lot of these teams that went 0 running back was viable because there were running backs available in the later rounds that would produce similar fantasy points to the players drafted in the earlier rounds. So last year, there was like a Josh Jacobs, or Ramondre Stevenson, a Tony Pollard, Tyler Algier. Those guys you were able to draft in rounds 8 or later. And because of that, it made the 0 RB strategy viable. Just like how a lot of these elite tight end strategies are popping to the top, it's because they're specific players. It's because of Travis Kelce. So I like thinking through this, like, okay, if these elite players are the reason that a lot of these strategies are able to be successful, why don't we build a model to understand why or which players are going to be low in ADP but score a ton of fantasy points this coming season? So I built this model. It's a lot of code, but I'm just going to go straight to the insights for you guys. And what I did was I split up. So 2 things. There's this really, really cool Python library called NFL Data PY. Shout out Cooper Adams for putting that stuff together. And what I was able to do was I was able to append all of the data from NFL Data PY to the Best Ball Mania data. And I wanted to understand the what variables are most important for scoring fantasy points And then I'm still not finished with this, but I want to then like plug in the output from this model to the ADP values from Best Ball Mania 4 so we can find the greatest value picks this year. Who's going to be the Josh Jacobs? Who's going to be the Ramondre Stevenson? Who's going to be the Tony Pollard? Who are those running backs that you can draft later in rounds so that you can make some of these zero running back strategies viable? And based off of some like early exploration I've done into like how the Best Ball Mania 4 players are ranked, I think I have a pretty good sense of who that's going to be, but I'll just kind of go through the variables that are most important. So there's the for quarterbacks, it's 2 years ago PPR. So that's something that was really interesting to me, that 2 years ago, the amount of points you scored was more important than the points you scored last year. And then draft number, years experience, BMI, passing touchdowns, rushing EPA. Those are the most important variables for a quarterback. For a running back, it's 2 years ago PPR, the draft number, the BMI, the years experience, and the age. Again, 2 years ago PPR was most important, which I thought was really interesting. Again, wide receivers, 2 years ago PPR, years experience, receiving EPA, draft number, fantasy points, half PPR max. So that specific column is the max number of half PPR points they scored in a single week. And then the tight end model, draft number, 2 years ago PPR, years experience, BMI, receiving touchdown share. So these are the data points which we're going to use to basically drive who we're going to be drafting in our Best Ball Mania draft. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I know that was a little bit long-winded. So moving forward, I probably won't do this, but I just wanted to high level go over some of the things. Wow, it's already 4.5% filled. Go over some of the ideas which we're going to use in this draft. So jumping straight in, let us enter our first Best Ball Mania 4 draft of the season. There's 8 more people. Okay, so just looking straight off the bat. We're going to want a wide receiver in the first round, depending on what draft spot that we get. Like, there's 2 things with drafting early. So we're before the week 17, or we're before the NFL schedule release. So we don't know which games to be targeting in the playoffs. But we do know that there's a higher likelihood that those last few games of the regular season are going to be divisional games. So if we draft one division's players, we should probably stack other players in that division for the higher likelihood of getting a week 17 game stack. Second, the ADP values on some of these players is massive right now. I know a lot of rookies are really, really far down the board, and we can draft those rookies at an advantage because we've done a lot of scouting on those rookies. We've done a lot of analytics on those rookies. So we have a general idea of how those rookies are going to perform. Maybe not necessarily in year one, but like how good they are as a player. So we can take advantage of these ADPs being really, really far down the board. But okay, we're still waiting on this. If you guys thought the beginning portion was interesting, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at Joshua J Hyun. That's at Joshua JAEHYUN. Also follow the Undroppables on Twitter and subscribe to the YouTube. I'm going to be doing this all off season long, and my goal is to max enter Best Ball Mania 4 and live stream every single one of my drafts. Hopefully I'm able to take down the 3 million. That'd be super, super cool. And we can live sweat it out with all you guys. That'd be a lot of fun. And I'm hoping that the insights and data models that I'm able to build are going to give me a competitive edge in this tournament. I think that it will. I think going the data-driven route is always the best decision, especially when you have a large sample. I mean, with Best Ball Mania 4, we have the last 2 years of data. That's 440,000 different teams that we were able to analyze. In terms of the actual picks, that's 18 times 440,000. I'm not going to be able to do that math off the top of my head. It's still early in the morning, but I'm excited. Let's get into this. 4 more people before we can start drafting. Got my Mr. Potato Head coffee mug. I'm ready. There's some general principles that I've learned over just like reading Twitter threads and following the guys who have won Ball Mania 4 in the past, Pat Carane, Liam Murphy, and just like listening to Peter Overzet's YouTube and just absorbing all of the information and the way that they're thinking, the way that they're making their decisions in their drafts. It's really helpful because I hadn't played Ball Mania or best ball at all before last year. Last year was my first time dipping my toes into the best ball waters. I had a ton of fun doing it. So I'm hoping to use that 1 year of experience under my belt and really propel myself forward this year, especially with all of the data analysis, which we were able to do on this data. But kind of some of the guys, so I've been thinking through because we really, really want team stacks, right? We want team stacks. We want game stacks. Game stacks are going to be a little bit less common in these pre-NFL schedule release teams because we don't know what those playoff game stacks are going to end up being. We do have a way that we can use probabilities to potentially have one, but obviously no sure thing. We're drafting early because there's a lot of ADP value. We're not going to use a lot of our entries pre-NFL schedule release or even like pre-training camp because there is potential for a lot of things to change. Maybe that works out in our favor. Maybe it ends up hurting us, but it's always a good idea just to get some reps in and have a good idea of like how ADPs are moving. So I'm excited. This is the first Ball Mania draft. I actually did a practice like warm-up DraftKings draft yesterday, and oh my god, I murdered that DraftKings lobby. So I am hyped for this underdog lobby. Underdog lobbies are typically a little bit more, I'd say, competitive in terms of just like the players are a little bit more sharp, maybe because there were guys like Keelan Cole going like the 8th round. I was like, what is happening? Isaiah Pacheco went like the 4th round. I was like, yeah, this. I can take advantage of this draft room. Hopefully, I can do the same here. All right, we are filled. We have 108. Okay, this is an interesting spot. I think we're going to target AJ Brown here. Hopefully, he falls to us. He should fall to us. AJ Brown, we can stack all of the Eagles players. The Eagles running backs are very, very cheap right now. And then we might be able to get like a Commanders game stack, maybe a Dallas game stack. I don't know. There's a few things we can do. Yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Maybe we'll do like an AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts stack. I've seen a lot of those, but there might be a few ways we can build some leverage on top of that team. Because obviously we want to have these more unique builds in order to win the 3 million. Let's see who's in my draft. Do I recognize any of these names? No, I don't. Oopsies. CMC. I mean, pretty chalky start. Shout out Chalk. Okay. Jamar Chase, Chalk. Bijan, big fan of Bijan this year. One of the strongest variables for our running back model was receiving share, and we know how good of a receiver Bijan Robinson is out of the backfield. I'm not necessarily sure how the Atlanta Falcons and Arthur Smith is going to use Bijan Robinson this year, but nevertheless, Diggs or AJ Brown. I like AJ Brown a little bit better just because of his yak ability. One of the most important things for a receiver is yak. I know Stephon Diggs gets a ton of air yards. That's another obviously very important variable. And the Bills should be in for a huge bounce back season, but the Eagles only got stronger. They had an incredible draft. So Eagles are going to be Super Bowl competitors once again. Give me AJ Brown, their wide receiver 1. Jonathan Taylor, Stephon Diggs. Let's see how this shakes out. Could go Hurts at our next pick. We're up in 6 picks. See what the board looks like. Okay. A.J. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams. Let's see. Garrett Wilson, first rounder. I don't know how much first round Garrett Wilson I'll be taking this year. But maybe we'll consider it. I don't know. Nick Chubb, CeeDee Lamb, Josh Allen. So he got the Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs stack. We're back on the board. Amon-Ra or Jalen Hurts. I know elite quarterback is super necessary, but Amon-Ra is super intriguing here. What pick are we? 17. Let's go Amon-Ra. I am a huge fan of Amon-Ra. I think he's going to be an absolute stud this year. Jameson Williams suspended for the first 6 weeks. Amon-Ra should eat up all of those targets. What other receivers do they really have? We could do a little Detroit stack because one of my favorite values in these early drafts is Jahmyr Gibbs. So I could stack Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra together, and that'd be super, super powerful. I'm hoping Jalen Hurts probably going in the he should go pretty soon. So I probably won't be able to get a Jalen Hurts stack with A.J. Brown while taking Amon-Ra in the middle. But I'm obviously hoping that Jalen Hurts falls back to us, but there's probably a 1% chance that he does, especially with this guy timing out. Let's see. All right, there goes Jalen Hurts. Who did he have? He had Jamar, Jalen Hurts. Okay, so A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra. Let's just keep stacking the receivers. Maybe the quarterbacks' ADPs are going to fall a little bit. I don't know. They're definitely not going to get higher. That's one thing's for sure. So maybe later on I can get more A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts stacks. But right now, early on, give me the stacks that might not be possible later in the summer. So A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra, that stack's probably going to be possible all summer long. But there's not too many stacks up here that probably will change too significantly unless someone gets hurt. Chris Olave, ETN. Okay. Devontae Smith somehow makes it to us. Obviously, we're hitting the draft button on him. I also like hitting the draft button on a DK Metcalf up here. All right, so Devontae Smith if he falls to us. If not, I might go Mark Andrews, hoping that Lamar Jackson makes it to us at 4-5. Because if the rest of these guys, I guess Lamar isn't necessarily the guy that you want. Mark Andrews just went. Okay, throw that plan out. Lamar just went. If T. Higgins falls to us, we're going to take T. T. Higgins did not fall to us. Breece Hall is the top guy available. I don't necessarily want Breece Hall. I want to wait for Jahmyr Gibbs. Let me get DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf, round 3. His yak ability and his offense is going to be very, very powerful this year. Geno Smith's going to probably take another step forward in that offense. I mean, they drafted wonderfully. What a draft by the Seahawks. They're building the Legion of Boom back up. Seattle, Detroit, those are always really fun games. Hopefully they're playing again this year. Oh, damn, Jahmyr Gibbs got taken. We're okay with that, though. We just got to keep building the roster. Probably Kenneth Walker in the 4th round. That one's going to be pretty intriguing. Get that Seattle stack. I'm really liking the Seattle team this year. They are going to be a powerhouse. They are relatively cheaper to some of these other top offenses, but they should be a very, very good offense this year. So I'm hoping for Kenneth Walker. Wow, this guy's really going robust running back. Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler, Breece Hall. What a running back room. That's definitely a strategy. High T. I got AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DK Metcalf. I like that start. I like those 3 receivers, and all of them are pretty elite. So excited about that. If Kenneth Walker falls to us, we will take Kenneth Walker for the Seattle stack there. Hopefully this guy doesn't start his draft 4 running backs, because that'd be kind of crazy. Okay. Looking at all the other guys here, yeah, I think Kenneth Walker's the best option. No Detroit, Philly players. Yeah, Kenneth Walker. So Kenneth Walker in the 4th round, he should be a pretty solid bell cow. He was going like late 2nd, like before the draft. So I'm excited to get Kenneth Walker down here in the 4th round. Don't think he should be a 4th round pick, given he put up 1,000 yards as a rookie. People are just fading him a little bit right now. Maybe a little bit of an overreaction because of the Zach Charbonnet news. I still expect Kenneth Walker to be the leader in this backfield because he's a dog. And I just think Kenneth Walker's a better runner of the football than Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet probably is a little bit more versatile, a little bit better of a pass catcher. So maybe they use Zach Charbonnet as a 3rd down role. I still think, talked about this on the Unending Rebuild podcast this past week. Yes, the Seahawks drafted Zach Charbonnet in the 2nd round. Obviously not great for Kenneth Walker fans. But Pete Carroll just likes to do this. He loves having running backs. He absolutely loves his running backs. So him drafting a running back here, I don't think is a death sentence for Kenneth Walker. I still think what's going to happen is Kenneth Walker is going to still get he's going to lead the backfield. And Zach Charbonnet is going to be used a little bit like when Rashad Penny was drafted in the 1st round back in 2018, I want to say. I think their leading rusher that season was Chris Carson. Chris Carson got the bulk of the work. And Rashad Penny would come in, played about 30% of snaps, get like 8 to 10 carries a game, maybe a target here or there. But the bulk of the work went to Chris Carson because he was the guy who was there last year. I think that's something similar is going to play out in Seattle this year, where Kenneth Walker is going to get the bulk of the work, and the players and Zach Charbonnet is going to get 8 to 10 carries, going to spell Kenneth Walker, and Zach Charbonnet will probably be more efficient than Kenneth Walker because Zach Charbonnet is going to get a little bit more rest, is going to get a little bit more opportunity to play against the second team. So I like Kenneth Walker. He's going to be the guy. If it falls to us, do we go Kittle? I mean, Seattle, San Francisco, same division. I do like that. We could also get Terry McLaurin for the NFC East stack. We could get Jackson Smith and Jigba for the further Seattle stack. This is an interesting spot to be in. I think if Kittle falls to us, we'll take Kittle just because of Kittle's abilities as a pass catcher. Okay, Kittle did not fall to us. So we will take Jackson Smith and Jigba. JSN, 5th round. Give them to me all the time. We're probably going to want to get a Geno Smith. Geno Smith and maybe a Jared Goff, maybe go like 3 ending quarterbacks, just because the quarterbacks are so pushed up the board right now. I'm hoping that as the offseason plays out, those quarterbacks will slowly creep down the board as other players get hyped up and pushed up. Maybe that doesn't happen, but there's no way the quarterbacks go any higher than they are right now. I just mathematically don't think that that's possible. So I will continue to stack these other guys who are a little bit further down. JSN, I think, is a guy that's going to be super productive in his rookie year. An amazing college receiver at Ohio State. They drafted him in the 1st round. I think he's going to kind of unlock that Seattle offense to have 3 guys that can really attack the defense. So maybe we'll even stack Tyler Lockett in here and go full Seattle mode. We'll see though. So here's where we start getting into the areas where, oh man, this is interesting. I think if it falls to me, I think I'd rather go Ayuk over Lockett here. Because if I've already drafted it like this, like I'm betting that JSN is going to take some of Tyler Lockett's work. Maybe that might. We have to bet that we're drafting like we're right. So DK Metcalf, JSN, two alpha dogs. We're drafting like those two guys are going to be the guys by the end of the season. I just got taken. Could still go Lockett. AJ Brown. Let me go Dallas Goedert. Let's stack those two guys. Because Dallas Goedert is an absolute stud. So to be able to stack AJ Brown with Dallas Goedert, those are two premier weapons in the Philadelphia offense. Kind of still holds on to that elite tight end. He's like right on the border of elite tight end. It is 6th round. That is like right where my threshold was. So I like that we were able to get elite tight end here. We haven't gotten an elite quarterback yet, but I think that's okay because Pat Kerrane, who won it all, he didn't even have an elite quarterback. Or I guess he didn't have an elite quarterback in the sense he didn't draft a quarterback early. He drafted Tom Brady, Daniel Jones, and I can't remember who his third quarterback was. But if you get the right guys later on, like you can build out some pretty strong stacks. He just had like a lot of Week 17 game stacks, and it ended up working out for him. But I like the team we're building so far. I think we're 9 picks away. Who do I want here? I like Addison. Addison's probably going to keep rising up draft boards. I like Cam Akers. I like Montgomery down here too. Kadarius Toney will probably continue to creep up draft boards. I don't necessarily want to take Kadarius Toney here though, especially because my team is just not built to take a Kadarius Toney. Cam Akers just went. That sucks. I don't want Cooks. We could go Lockett. If Lockett falls to us, we probably take Lockett. They should keep building out that stack. Pickens, Deontay. I think I'm going to go Lockett if he's there. If not, I will probably go David Montgomery. I think those are our two plays. Maybe even a James Conner for the Arizona-Seattle potential. This is getting spicy. Okay, Lockett just went. Hollywood. Monty or Connor? I think Monty for the Detroit stack. James Conner is the Arizona stack. 2 years ago, running back 2 years ago. James Conner is how old? 26, 27. David Montgomery. I went Monty yesterday, so let me go James Conner here. James Conner's a premier winner in that Arizona backfield. That offense needs guys to put up points, and James Conner is a nice potential for if it's a Arizona versus Seattle Week 17 game. That could be huge for us because James Conner will probably be a pretty big player in that Arizona offense, especially with Kyler Murray hurt to start the year. So I like getting James Conner there. James Conner is also a pretty good pass catcher. So that's one of the things that we're looking for out of our running backs is guys who catch the ball a lot. I know Rachaad White. Rachaad White doesn't necessarily fit this team that well because it's unlikely that he ends up playing Seattle in Week 17. But James Conner is someone who's a little bit more likely. Hopefully, if it's a Arizona-Seattle game stack in Week 17, this team could do some damage. We could go Dak here. Go for a Dallas-Philly Week 17. And then this is an interesting one. I do like JMO way down here too. JMO could really pop off to end the year. And then since we already have Amon-Ra, could stack him with JMO, get Jared. Dak just went. Okay, so maybe we don't draft a quarterback right now. Give me Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis in the Buffalo offense. I know he doesn't really fit any of our stacks, but I like him the best out of the players there just because he's in such a potent Buffalo offense. Maybe we can find some stacks later on, but I'll take some naked Gabe Davis. We can even take a James Cook to stack him up there. Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers. Gino's our guy. So we're going to go like a Gino Goff, maybe like a Gino Goff, Sam Howell for a Philadelphia-Washington potential game stack at the end. I think if James Cook falls to us, I'd probably take James Cook just because we just took Gabe Davis. So like maybe like week 17, like a James Cook, Gabe Davis both pop off. That would be pretty exciting. And then that makes it viable for us to draft like AFC East players. Maybe we can stack like the Patriots guys at the end for a potential Buffalo Bills, New England week 17 game. Where's Kyler? Kyler's down here. I'm curious because I think Kyler, let me see what the news is on Kyler Murray. Will return before midseason in 2023. May not return until second half. That was a little bit further ago. When's the most recent report? To return earlier than expected. Arizona Cardinals owner Michael Biddle appeared in the day pass, said he believes Kyler Murray could return before the midway point of the season. Okay. That is interesting. Maybe someone like a Kyler Murray is pretty viable down here. Because if we get like a Geno Smith and Kyler Murray, week 17, if the I hate these picks. Kamara, Odell. This is a gross area of the draft. Khalil Herbert, 8th round. Michael Thomas. This is a gross range of the draft. 8th round. That's not where I want to be taking some of these guys. This is a very, very gross range. Okay, let's see how this plays out. Sky Moore. That's another one. Okay. So let's see how it's shaken out. Okay, so in a few more picks, we're at pick 104. If James Cook does fall to us, we'll have to take him there. But James Cook there would be pretty spicy with Gabe Davis. Get the Buffalo players, and then New England players are some of the cheapest players in these drafts. What is happening? Okay, Njoku just went because I don't know why, but people. I mean, I guess I know why. The Patriots were terrible last year, but I think there's no way that the Patriots are worse than they were last year. They weren't even that terrible last year. And what's his name? Patricia was their James Cook just went. Patricia was their offensive coordinator, and he was very, very bad as an offensive coordinator. We will take Geno Smith. Oh, Danny Dimes. Giants, Philly. Nah, everything in my bones just doesn't like anything about Daniel Jones in the 9th round. Let me get Geno Smith in the 9th round just to stack him up with all these Seattle players. No point in risking him not falling to us here. There's not really a reason for any of these guys to take Geno Smith unless the Tyler Lockett guy is over here. I'm not going to check that right now. But the Tyler Lockett guy was the only one who really had a threat to take a Geno Smith. But I'm going to go ahead and stack him with all of our Seattle players and hope for the best. Maybe another guy that we can get down here is like I really like Rashad Bateman this year. That offense should be very potent in Baltimore. Don't really see a whole big reason to take Rashad Bateman. Just Zeke went early. 157. Oh, that's a reach and a half. I mean, Zeke will definitely rise in these best ball drafts. Like he's going to get signed. He's going to rise significantly from his 157 ADP. I don't see why Doug Hayes would take Ezekiel Elliott in the 9th round in this draft. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Rashad Bateman, okay. I think we're going to want to go. Let's see who's available. Ooh, Damian Harris. Damian Harris is an interesting one. We can get that Gabe Davis stack and then get the New England guys later on. Okay, we could even do Goff and whoever falls out of Goff and Kyler at the end, I'm going to want one of those guys. But I think we want Damian Harris or Rashad Penny. 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 I took Damian Harris yesterday. Let's get Rashad Penny today. Just because he should be dangerous in that Philadelphia offense. We already have A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert, so there's additional stacks there going on. If it's a Philadelphia-Seattle Week 17, that would be crazy. I don't even know if that matchup is even possible, but that'd be a wild matchup for a Week 17 game stack where we're able to get all these guys already, especially a Jackson Smith and Jigba late in the season. Oh my God. But maybe even Damian Harris falls to us on our next pick. We could do like a Damian Harris. How many picks? We're 11 picks away. Could do Damian Harris. Could do Goff. Could do Kyler. I think the optimal route here is probably Kyler Murray because of this huge Seattle stack we got going on. Kyler Murray is very, very interesting. I know that he's not playing the whole year, but if it gets down to it, like Week 17, oh geez, Kyler Murray could really pop off, and he elevates this team because when Kyler's healthy, he's a monster in fantasy. I love to have me some Kyler Murray. Two years ago, put up 310, pretty solid. I don't know if you guys remember, but at the beginning of the stream, we showed that for quarterbacks, one of the most important metrics is your points, your fantasy output 2 years ago. And Kyler Murray 2 years ago was very good. Jared Goff 2 years ago, he was all right. But Jared Goff should be good this year. I mean, that offense is so elevated. So we'll take Damian Harris or Kyler Murray here, whoever falls. If it's between the two, I will go Kyler Murray. Dalton Kincaid. Okay, this is. I like the way that this draft is shaking out. Put it in the comments. Do you think this is the winner? This is the $3 million. This is the winner of the $3 million. All right, give me Kyler Murray. Okay. Hopefully the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals play in Week 17. Geno Smith and Kyler Murray would be an insane stack to have. But if this team makes it out, Kyler Murray should be a force. So I'm excited for it. Okay, let's continue to take the running backs. Next pick, probably want to go Gibson. If Gibson's not there, we probably could go Jared Goff. But if I take Gibson, then we'll target like a Sam Howell later in the draft to get the Washington Philly stack popped up. All right, Goff just went. Yeah, let's try to get Gibson and then Sam Howell later in the draft. I do need more receivers, though. I like the receivers that I have. My receivers are very strong right now, but I do need more of them. I think I'm going to go about 7. Maybe the goal here is to go probably want 3 quarterbacks. So a 3-6-7-2, 3-6-7-2 might be the move. Rashee Rice. My film evaluation of Rashee Rice, he did not look good. If you guys want to check out his film, just go on YouTube, see if there's like a full game. He looks very stiff. I don't know. I project Rashee Rice to be like a Kenny Golladay type of player, where he'll probably have like one really good season because his quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. And when your quarterback is Patrick Mahomes, you're going to be able to do a lot of really good things. So Rashee Rice will have one good year. He'll go off to a second team, and then he probably will shit the bed. The Giants probably do it again. Ooh, let's go. Antonio Gibson. Give him to me. Come on down, Antonio Gibson. That's a pretty solid BMI running back room popping off there. Kenneth Walker, 220? James Conner, 230. Rashad Penny, 230. Antonio Gibson, 230. Ooh, that's a big boy running back room. And then our receivers. Oh, geez, we got A.J. Brown and DK. And Gabe, the report is Gabe Davis has bulked up this offseason. So we'll see what he can do. We will see what he can do. This is a fun team shaking out, though. I like this team. This team is looking solid. Somebody reaching on Jerick McKinnon. Armakis. Lamar, Joe Burrow, Tony Pollard, James Cook, Samaje Perine, Jerick McKinnon, Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett, Michael Thomas, Tyler Boyd. Oh, it's not bad. Don't hate it. I like my team a little bit better, though. The receivers. Oh, my goodness. Look at these receivers. He's the only guy to go 3 receivers to start the draft. This guy went 2. This guy went 2. He went 2 and then Fields and then Debo right after. All right, we're up in 10 picks. Let's see what we're looking at. So we have the Washington-Philly game stacks starting to shape up. We could probably go Sam Howell, maybe even a Jahan Dotson. Isn't he down here? Did Jahan Dotson already go? Probably already did. There's no way Jahan Dotson's this far down. Okay, he went in the 7th round. Yeah. Could get like a Curtis Samuel down here. Big fan of Curtis Samuel's game. I am a Commanders fan, if you all didn't know. And I like what we're doing. I like mainly that Snyder should be gone pretty soon. That's the most exciting part. Russell Wilson is falling really, really far. Do we just say fuck it and take Russell Wilson? Just send it, full send on Russell Wilson? Broncos country? Let's ride? Russell Wilson? And then we don't take a Sam Howell, and then we just no QB game stack, Philly and Washington. I think if Russell Wilson falls to us, I think there's no way that we can't take him there. ADP 123 at pick 152. Hope somebody else takes him though. I don't really want Russell Wilson down here. But if he's there, yeah. So we'll probably go Russell Wilson or Dawson Knox. I think Dawson Knox makes the most sense since we do need our second. Oh my God. Okay. If you guys are forcing me, I will take Russell Wilson at pick 152. So those are 3 quarterbacks. We definitely don't need another one after that. But I like having Russell Wilson, Geno Smith as our 2 guys to hold it down until Kyler Murray returns. That's pretty solid. Yes, Jeff. Yes, Jeff. I will be looking for Marvin Mims for the back stack. I'm a huge fan of Marvin Mims. So I really hope he falls to us. Where is Marvin Mims going? So we are in round 13. Marvin Mims is right here at pick 188. Pick 188. Oh, wow. 16th round. Okay. Yeah, Marvin Mims is one of the guys that I think is definitely going to rise this offseason. So we'll definitely be looking for some Marvin Mims. If Dawson Knox makes it to us, I think we take Dawson Knox to get the stack with Gabe Davis. Because don't like any of these receivers. The only receiver that I would even consider is like a Michael Gallup, but I don't love that either. I do need more receivers though. I do like these first 5 I got, but I do need more receivers. Okay. If Dawson Knox falls to us, we'll go Dawson Knox. If he doesn't, we'll probably go down and get Wandale. Where's Curtis Samuels? Curtis Samuel way far. Curtis Samuels at 176. Yeah, we probably get Wandale. I'm a big fan of Wandale. He's a beast. And then maybe there's a Giants Philadelphia Week 17 game, and Wandale goes off. But top priority right now is Dawson Knox. I know they just drafted Dalton Kincaid, but Dawson Knox should still put up some points over there. It's the Buffalo offense. Come on. Come on. Dawson Knox, come on down. Just the touchdown potential with Dawson Knox is pretty high. So I like that he's my second tight end. He should be pretty good. He should be pretty good. I know they just drafted Dalton Kincaid. I think the plan is to use both tight ends in Buffalo. So here's to hoping. I think, yeah, 12 picks away. All right. 1 second. I will be right back. Sorry about that. Okay, so we are back, and let's see. Still need more receivers. I think Wandale is still our top option. I do like Curtis Samuel on there, but I think Wandale is the pick. Wandale should be the pick. Just hoping for one of these game stacks, one of the Philadelphia game stacks, since we have so many of those Philadelphia players. I was thinking that maybe we could get like a Rondale Moore, but I saw he just went at pick 168. Wandale, I know, is coming off the 20 CL, but he looked really, really freaking good. And the fact that the Giants didn't select a receiver makes me feel pretty good about Wandale Robinson. All right, Wandale, come on down. Okay, then 16th round. Oh, Marvin Mims just went. And Mitch, you stole him from me. I should have taken Marvin Mims. I messed that pick up. That's okay, though. I probably should have taken Marvin Mims over Wando, especially since Wando's coming off the 20 ACL. I went off stream. It ruined my flow. So next stream draft, we're going to stay for the whole time. But okay, we're back. Probably taking a Curtis Samuel next because we're only taking receivers and running backs to the end of the draft because we already have our 3 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends with our elite tight end and our 3 solid quarterbacks. So probably at our next pick, we're going to want to go a Curtis Samuel. And then if Curtis Samuel isn't there, probably get a Kenneth Gainwell. Also like a Tyquan Thornton down here to stack with the Buffalo Bills players in case there's a New England game down there. And then maybe we end the draft with like a Kayshon Boutte for a really, really, really low-owned, high-leverage pick. So Curtis Samuel will be the pick here if he is here. If he's not, we will go Kenneth Gainwell. We are really stacking. We're stacking the NFC East. Let's go. Curtis Samuel, come on down. So we got the Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, stacked with the Rashad Penny, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert. So maybe that Week 17 Philadelphia versus Washington game can really prop this team up. I know we don't have any of the quarterbacks from that game, but we have a lot of the players. So hopefully some of these guys can pop off that weekend and get us to 3 million. That should be fun. But let us see. We're going to want, we have 3. So we're probably going to want to end our draft with 2 running backs because our receiver room is pretty freaking solid. Since we started it with those 3 elite guys, we definitely don't need an 8th. I guess 4 elite guys. So we're just going to focus on running back from here on out. I like Kenneth Gainwell, our next pick. Chuba should be pretty good down here too. Even like a Gus Edwards, Jerome Ford. All right, there's some options down here. Clyde Pierre Strong. I actually do like the Pierre Strong play. Stacked with the Buffalo players for some high leverage. Ooh, give me that. Give me all the Pierre Strong. Really low-key kind of player. Really low-key. He was a 3rd-round pick last year, and he showed out at the combine last year. Put up like a 4.3 40. He's big. He catches passes. He killed it with the, where was he? South Dakota State Jackrabbits. So he should be a fun one. Kenneth Gainwell slides all the way down here at pick 200. Kenneth Gainwell was good in the playoffs last year. He was good. So if Kenneth Gainwell makes it to me, that's a smash pick at pick 200. I don't think Kenneth Gainwell will be going this. Actually, he might be just because they got DeAndre Swift. But that Philadelphia backfield is becoming one of those ambiguous situations where you're just going to want the healthy guy who's the cheapest. And Kenneth Gainwell is by far the cheapest other than Boston Scott. But Kenneth Gainwell gets solid work week to week, and he was used pretty heavily in the playoffs. So I know it's not great to draft 2 running backs on the same team, but when they're this cheap, give them to me. Kenny Gainwell. Got my 2 tight ends. Yeah, Kenny Gainwell, and then we'll see who falls to the last one. We could. So we didn't take Taekwon. I wonder who took Taekwon. Kenny Gainwell, round 17. That's a solid pick. We're probably going to want to get a running back for our last pick. If Chuba falls, we're probably going to take Chuba. If he doesn't fall, we will take Gus. Gus is an interesting one. 2 years ago. Michael Carter. I wonder how Breece Hall's going to start the year. Michael Carter's on the Jets. That's a Buffalo stack if that game plays out in Week 17. Maybe we could go Michael Carter. I like Michael Carter. Michael Carter's a good player. Just got a little bit unlucky having Breece Hall come into town. We don't have any guys for the Cleveland. Yeah, we have a naked Russell Wilson. I don't know what that's going to do for us, but we have a naked Russell Wilson. Not a sing. Is there a who's the Broncos' 3rd running back? Broncos depth chart. Who's their 3rd running back? Do they have Tyler Beatty still? Running back Javonte Samaje, Tony Jones. They do have Tyler Beatty. Should I just ride with a naked Russell Wilson? That'd be pretty funny. I do like Jerome Ford though, because if Nick Chubb goes down, Jerome Ford's a beast. But Michael Carter, because I think I'm going to go Michael Carter just because We have the Buffalo players, so we could stack that. That could be a Week 17 game stack. And I don't know how Breece Hall is going to recover. Like maybe he starts off the year and he's not fully healthy. I haven't seen too many reports. I did see that Salah likes where Breece Hall is at. Sounds like he's recovering pretty fast. And I would think that Breece Hall is going to be a force this year. He's going to be pretty good. He's really young. He was 20 years old last year. He's 21 now, and as we all know, young bodies recover very, very quickly. So Breece Hall should be pretty good this year, but I think I will take Michael Carter as my last pick. Wait. We want some leverage. Pure Strong still getting drafted though, right? Do we want the leverage from Michael Carter from Pierre Strong? Michael Carter or Pierre Strong, guys? Michael Carter or Pierre Strong? Michael Carter or Pierre Strong? We are on the clock. Michael Carter or Pierre Strong? Probably Michael Carter, just because Michael Carter was good 2 years ago. And Michael Carter's a solid player. I liked him coming out of college at a UNC. Screw it. Michael Carter. There we go. There's our team. Solid team. So our quarterbacks for the audio listeners, Geno Smith, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson. Running backs, Kenneth Walker, James Conner, Rashad Penny, Antonio Gibson, Kenneth Gainwell, Michael Carter. Wide receivers, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Gabe Davis, Wan'Dale Robinson, Curtis Samuel, and our tight ends, Dallas Goedert and Dawson Knox for a nice 3-6-7-2 out of the 8 slot. I think we drafted pretty well for our first Best Ball Mania stream. And I'm excited to continue to do this throughout the rest of the offseason. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for staying with me for the full hour. Hopefully the beginning part with all the analytics and stuff wasn't too boring for you guys. But let me know. Let me know if it is, and I can cut that out of the beginning of the segment. But that should be all from me. Got to get to work on some other stuff. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope all of you have a great rest of your day.